Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to an all-new reaction and review. Tonight, guys, I'm taking a look at an Australian horror film from 1993. That movie is Body Melt. Now, I don't know a whole lot about this movie, guys. About the only things I can tell you is what I've picked up on the back here. And essentially what this movie's about is about a health spa that's selling dietary supplements of some sort, which are causing people to essentially die in horrible and violent ways. One of them includes their bodies melting, apparently. That really is the only thing I know. Now, the only other thing I really know is what is stated on both the front and back covers, which says that this movie is from the special effects lab of Dead Alive and Matrix Reloaded. Now, when I hear that, I'm just going to assume that they mean that all of the special effects are done by the same people who did Dead Alive and Matrix Reloaded. And as for Matrix Reloaded, I don't give a shit about the Matrix sequel, so let's just not even talk about that. However, Dead Alive, I've stated many times, is one of my favorite... No, actually, correction, it is my favorite film from director Peter Jackson. So at least I have a strong feeling that we're going to have some awesome-looking special effects here. However, having fantastic effects is not the only thing that counts whenever you're making a movie. You also have to have writing that is halfway decent and characters you are going to care about. And I don't know if any of that is here. And the only way I'm going to find out if any of that is here is if I shut up and I push play, and I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Body Melt. Are those tentacles growing out of his neck wound? My god, they are, and that's incredibly fucking disgusting. Wow, that was just incredibly fucked up, guys. Okay, why the hell did she just jam a jagged piece of wood into that guy's crotch, or did she, like jam it up his ass? I couldn't fucking tell, guys. The angle was a little off, but then again, I actually kind of wish that I could figure out anything that has gone down in the last 20 minutes, but that honestly was at least exceptionally fucked up. You know, guys, when I started watching this movie, I genuinely thought I was going to get something kind of sort of fun. I was actually kind of expecting something, gory and kind of sick, and I haven't gotten any of that. I mean, I've gotten, like, one really good gore, shot, and even then, guys, like, everything else has sort of fallen flat, including characters and writing. I'm really hoping for this movie to kind of pick up, but as of right now, guys, this thing is boring as fuck. Well, guys, I was asking for something interesting, and I just got what looked almost like a miscarriage. That was definitely different. I mean, I guess I asked for something different, and well, I fucking got it. Really wasn't expecting a miscarriage, though. Okay, I was not really expecting that. Some guy had a boner that was raging so hard that his dick fucking exploded. That was certainly disgusting, and the only positive is that it was off camera. Now, I just sort of wish that I was watching a movie that was actually somewhat fucking interesting, you know what I mean? Well, guys, that was Body Melt. Thank fuck that's done. Shut up. I'm done listening to your shitty music. In fact, before I even get into the film itself, before I even rip almost every facet of this shit piece apart, let's talk about the music. My god, this music is appallingly bad. As many of you know, I'm not a fan of techno, I'm not a fan of dubstep. This thing, it really almost sounds like some kind of like hybridized techno that's almost fucking like a prototype for dubstep. Mind you, this thing was made in '93, which means that dubstep wasn't even close to being a thing. However, though, this almost sounds like what dubstep would have sounded like if some stupid retard decided to create it in '93, as opposed to what, like 2010 or so. God, that music is shit. In fact, that is one of the many problems with this film. Why don't I cover the positives now? I have already bitched about the music, but that's because that was still rather fresh. Special effects. They did say that, all over the packaging here, it does say that it is from the special effects lab that also did, which also did Dead Alive, which I stated, I love that movie, and this thing does have really good special effects. Now, is it as good as Dead Alive? No, partially because Dead Alive was actually willing to show you the shit happen on camera. This movie was made on such a low budget that we never actually see anything really happen. Like there are like 2 or 3 instances where characters, like, body parts explode, and the explosion happens off camera. And it really doesn't matter if it is like one character's face or if it is one guy's dick. I know for a fact that there was at least one other one where a character just kind of sort of, like, burst out. It's all and it's all done off camera in order to save money. However, in doing those effects off camera, you have kind of sort of taken a whole lot of the nastiness out of this film. Because this movie, especially if everything that's written on the back is to be fucking believed, it was supposed to pride itself on being sick and being disturbing and being shocking. You cannot be sick, disturbing, and shocking if 99% of your major effects are happening off camera and you just see the after effects. Because that honestly just shows that you know how to do makeup. It really doesn't show that you know how to do these special effects right. Now, mind you, there are a couple of effects which are done on camera, such as when one character's head just kind of sort of caves in, and that looks pretty good. And of course, we then had like the tentacles like crawling out of one guy's neck, and like we do have a couple of effects which are done on camera, and those look really good. However, though, then we have a lot of other effects which are done almost entirely off camera, and that really cheapens the entire experience. But really, special effects are the one and only bright shining spot I can put on this movie, because everything which you do see is done really well. And also even the stuff that is done off camera, at least though, is sort of punctuated by having some really nice makeup to kind of sort of show you what we didn't see, just to basically kind of show us like the after effects of what we should have by all rights have seen. Anyway, special effects and makeup are really the only positive I can pull from this. So now let's talk about all the other negatives besides music, since I've already touched on that. Writing. Oh, sweet shit. I really thought, guys, I was going to be in for something really cool. I thought I was going to be in for a nice, awesome film about essentially just body horror. And that's kind of sort of what it's all sort of like leading up to. However, though, you have that 45-minute slow boil before we actually get to really get neck fucking deep into the mountains and mountains of body horror that were promised in the write-up on the back of the case. And that, guys, is 100% inexcusable. There is no reason for your movie to have a heavy body horror focus and take over half the film to get there, because you feel the need to drag your fucking feet with scenes that have no purpose, have almost no rhyme or reason, and bring the pacing of the film to an absolute screaming fucking halt. I would happily say that the pacing in this film is, glacial, but that would be an insult to glaciers. This thing has all of the pace and speediness of a fucking tectonic plate. It is awful. It's fucking terrible, the pacing here. Because, guys, all right, we have two characters who are part of this neighborhood. And this neighborhood is secretly part of some, like, drug trial, and none of them really know that they're part of it. It's all real questionable and stupid. And they go out on a drive, and then they get lost in the fucking middle of nowhere. And we then have to watch for 20 minutes as they are dealing with this family who are so ridiculously inbred, it's not even funny. And really, guys, it is just 20 minutes of just that, and it goes nowhere fast. It drops one minor hint that the father of this brood is going to play a role later on in the film, and even then, what they seem to be hinting at with him playing a larger role is just him making essentially a cameo in the third act, and that just sort of leads to the death of another character. It seemed totally unnecessary for any of this to be in here. And speaking honestly of the father, the deepest thing he has to depth is that he honestly was testing. He was testing drugs on himself, so he now has heightened senses. And when he has nothing else to say, he feels the urge to mutter the lyrics to Deep Purple's classic song "Highway Star," and it gets really old, really fast. And the saddest part is that out of his entire backwoods, outback, redneck family, he is the only one who has any level of fucking depth, because the other ones are all just ugly for the sake of being ugly, or ugly for the sake of being inbred. So we have 20 minutes of characters who have no fucking personality outside of, well, the writer apparently saw fucking Deliverance and thought, hey, I believe I also can do Backwater Hicks too. And really, guys, that really just drags the pacing down. And every other character, if you seriously think that the other characters have anything even close to depth or personality, think the fuck again. We have one couple, the closest thing which they have to personality is that the wife is pregnant. Wow. Yippee. We have another couple who are an older couple. Guess what? The only thing we have to personality is that the husband goes for like power walks every fucking morning. That's it. Literally, that is it. I really, guys, I'm telling you about the characters who actually have personality, because everybody else doesn't fucking have any. Which means that we're spending 45 minutes being fucking built up on this story with characters who have no personality and no depth, which means that it's 45 minutes of literally fuck all going on. It's really kind of fucking sad. Now, I would like to talk about the acting now, because frankly, guys, when your characters are this flat, the acting is not going to be anything fucking special. Guess what? There are 2 points in the film where there are characters watching porn. The acting in the porn, which these characters are watching, is better than the acting in the movie I just fucking watched. So yes, guys, the acting in this piece of shit is worse than the acting you find in most porno flicks. That is just mind-boggling. The very fact that they found porno which had better acting than what was in the movie they themselves were making. It really does paint this entire thing in an absolutely horrific and abysmal light. It's terrible. The acting here is awful. I do not think that anybody here has actually ever taken any level of acting classes or acting, training of any sort, and that they were just hired because they were the only people who, were, nearby when they opted to film. Oh man, the acting here is just that bad. And of course, I can put a whole lot of that blame onto the writing, because the writing is so absolutely god-awful. However, though, the actors are also at least somewhat expected to put in something at least halfway decent when it comes to a performance, and our piss poor cast couldn't even pull off that. Okay, Beyond that, like, lighting here is okay. I mean, like the lighting really isn't anything special, and the camera work really isn't anything special. Special effects I have already talked about as being, pretty good, and whoever in the hell composed the music for this, I want them to choke on a bowl of dicks and die. That music was fucking terrible. So, when all is said and done, can I recommend Body Melt? No, I cannot. This movie was a painful chore to get through. Jesus God, guys, I'm gonna be straight up with you. I had no idea if this thing was gonna be good or bad going in, but I at least had the hope. I had just the minimal hope that I'd be able to get at least a little bit of joy out of this. And I couldn't even get, that. We have here a movie which showcases fantastic special effects. However, when special effects are your one and only true positive, you do not have a good film here. This thing is painful to sit through, and I could not recommend it to anybody. I do not care if this thing's on Netflix. I really don't know if it is. I don't care if you find it on the discount rack at fucking like Walmart. Do not waste the money. Actually, I'm not even sure if Walmart would carry this. Either way, if you find this thing anywhere at any price, don't fucking buy it. It's not worth the money. Jesus. This thing, guys, This thing is an horrific disappointment. I really thought I was going to get at least something halfway good out of this, and this thing honestly couldn't even fucking give me that. Now, Body Melt came off the Amazon wish list. The person who sent it in is Robert, and Robert has asked that I not give out his YouTube channel or anything along those lines, and I'm totally willing to do that. And Robert, thank you, because I was sort of curious about this one, and once more, I had no idea if this thing was going to be good or bad, and I kind of hoped it was going to at least be somewhat decent, but yeah, this thing was a massive letdown, and frankly, I do have to thank you, because I would never have known if this thing was going to be good or bad if you hadn't sent it in. Again, I just sort of wish that it was better, but you know what? I honestly am kind of used to watching really shitty movies, so it honestly doesn't really shock me too much. So yes, once more, Robert, thank you. Wow. I am just stunned by how terrible this fucking thing was. You know what? I am gonna go watch something else. I need to just sort of wash the god-awful taste of this out of my mouth. And you know what? Seeing as how this thing focused almost entirely on body horror, I'm gonna go watch another movie that has a whole lot of body horror focus. I'm gonna go watch my Blu-ray of fucking Reanimator. Why? Because I still haven't watched my Blu-ray of it yet, and it's an awesome movie. So yes, guys, with that, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.